Hello everybody, this is JudiciousFire. I'm up on iOS. Today I'm going to be looking at another set of heroes in the Hero Altar, doing an overall altar review and looking at some of the heroes that I've taken up to max level. That's in Destiny, that's in Skill, that's in Hero Evolution, that's in Breakthrough, that's in Talent level. So we're going through the altar. I'm going to look at another 4 heroes today. I'm going to start all the way on the left. They've just released the Insane Dungeon 8 yesterday. And in preparation for that, I brought up 2 of these heroes. The first hero I brought up to max level in the game currently is Atlanticore, and he's going to be the first hero we look at today. Atlanticore does one specific thing and really no other. He casts a shield, and that shield deflects all the damage back at the attacker. It's going to last for 7.5 seconds, and there is a cooldown. It can't just keep functioning, otherwise the guy would be invulnerable. When you take his skill up to 12, he does get an attack speed increase, and that's not a tremendous benefit to him, but certainly the deflect damage is really what you're after. As far as his skill is concerned, I went with Iron Will. I had previously been running a revive, but I'm finding that he gets stunned up too often. I can do a number of things with his skill, his talent, and if I consult the compendium, let me go down here, go to Talent Compendium. If we look at, let's look at Revitalize. You want this guy's shield to go off right away, so Revitalize would be a smart choice. But at level 9, you get that immediate activation, 100% energy, and you get a 90% attack bonus. Now that's not really a help for Atlanticore. You're not after the attack bonus, and it only lasts for 10 seconds. Let's take a look at Iron Will at level 9. For 22 seconds, you get a 140% attack increase. Again, that's not really something I'm looking for from Atlanticore. I want his shield to go up, but it makes you immune for really the entire battle, because that's how long these battles last, about 22 seconds. It makes you immune to stun. The towers won't cause you to freeze in your path there. Fear, energy reduction, scatter, all of these things you're immune to. So what I end up doing is I end up varying based on the situation. I end up varying the insignia or crest that I have. Right now I'm going with a Revitalize 8, which still gives 100% energy and that attack boost. Often I'll be pairing him with Eulophant, who gives a 60% chance to cast a shield. It's going to further continue to make him immune to stun and fear. It grants him a bit of a dodge. Can get him out of a slippery situation. I have also been pairing him with the new pet, Fennec. When the hero is attacked, and Atlanticore certainly will be, it's going to heal him as well as prevent a negative status. And that could be something bad, like a stun tower. It could be some kind of like an airy silence, anything that's going to negatively affect him. It's going to grant him immunity to that one thing. Let's take a look at his statistics. He's running at 27,000, 28,000 damage. He's got almost 700,000 health. He's got a very slow attack speed. The swinging sword, the higher the number, the slower the attack. The boot, the lower the number, the slower the movement speed. He's slow all around. Here are his attributes after Breakthrough 20. 2600 accuracy, 1300 dodge. Dodge is something you want to stay away from on Atlanticore. You don't want to prevent him from being hit. Otherwise, the one thing he does well, deflect damage, it won't work, okay? If he's not taking damage, he's not deflecting damage, so he's useless. Go to Destiny. Here are his attribute gains at 40 Destiny. Now, as far as his equipment is concerned, uh, a while back, I put this Cursed Battlefield on him, and I really like this as a enchantment on Atlanticore. If you look at the different enchantments, let's go to equipment. Go to the right hand corner, the exclamation point, and it'll show you all the enchantments at all their various levels. Um, you want to keep him alive. You want him to activate his shield. Okay, but Forest Ward at level 5 only gives you a 30% chance. And really, it's only going to activate at best one time during the battle. Um, None of the other ones truly fit the guy. You can always go with a burning plate. Now, a burning plate, and I've talked about this in my enchantment video a while back. It's going to increase his health, his maximum health pool by 25%. That's good. But it also creates a ring of fire around him. And if you're using him alongside of like a Pumpkin Duke or another hero in the dungeons, you're basically nuking all of the buildings and walls around Atlanticore with this burning plate, thereby preventing the other heroes from actually hitting anything, often preventing Atlanticore from actually hitting a building and activating his skill. So you have to be careful with that one. So I went with Cursed Battlefield. It's going to, as soon as I drop Atlanticore on the board, everybody on the board, all enemy targets, there could be 300 guys out there, all of them are going to receive 10% more damage for 10 seconds, and the cooldown's 10 seconds. So as long as Atlanticore is being attacked, uh, everybody else is going to be getting a 10% damage increase. Let me go into the Hero's Altar, into equipment again. Let's take a look at his traits. I want to keep him alive. I went with all health. I never rolled a 1950. I rolled two 450s. Typically, I get one that's nice and one that, I'm not entirely thrilled with, but I'm happy to take it. And that was the accuracy. Not really something I'm looking for necessarily on Atlanticore, but I'm happy to take it. I will not be changing that. Let's take a look here. All right, very good. Let's go on to our next person here. We've got ourselves Commodora. Commodora is one of those heroes that does a tremendous amount of base damage, building damage, just wreck shop. Now, what you can find is on occasion, she can be a little bit fragile. She's kind of like a glass cannon. If she's not outfitted properly, enchantment wise, trait wise, talent wise, pet wise, then she can die after 4 or 5 seconds out on the board. So this is the way that I run her to try to increase her survivability. Let's first look at her skill. She's going to do attack. She gets an increase in her attack by 140%. She's all damage. She reflects back 60% of all the damage she's taking. So whenever she gets hit, sort of like Atlanticore, but only 60% of an Atlanticore, she's going to be knocking back that damage at the enemy. The cooldown's the same as the skill itself, so it's always functioning really. When attacked, now this is very important, she has to be under attack. So if she's in the back row somewhere, she's not going to be functioning. You've got to keep her in the front row of your teams. You've got to put her first or second out on the board in a dropping hero scenario. You've got to make sure that she's under direct attack. When attacked, she does this big drop anchor skill, and it starts blowing up buildings, blowing up heroes. It also allows her to recover her health to 50% of the damage she's dealing. So basically, she's always got a full health bar if you can keep her alive long enough to get into a rhythm of dropping these anchors. As far as her skill is concerned, I went with Vital Boon. Her skin is currently not available, so I am relegated to just one talent. Something like a Sacred Light could be an option, but part of what she does, just like a Michael, and Ashura, part of what she does is reflect damage. And if you use a damage decreasing talent on a hero that deflects or reflects, you're going to minimize their ability to deflect and reflect damage. So you're really shooting them in the foot by putting a damage reducing talent on them. So I went with Vital Boon. It's going to raise her health by 120%. And when she's right up against the enemy, she's got a 60% chance to remove their buffs or their combat bonuses. I pair her with Fennec most often in scenarios, maybe like a dungeon scenario or maybe a base attack scenario, because I like to see the psi shield, the negative status wall go up. It helps to keep her alive, and it gives her a double chance to heal. As far as her, let me go to her insignia. As far as her insignia is concerned, I do change it around a little bit. Oftentimes, more often than not, I'm running a Regenerate. Now, I found that a Regenerate is a wonderful talent to have. It's going to allow her to gain a tremendous amount of energy. It's going to allow her to heal at twice the ability, but I find that her health and her energy are typically maxed out, and it's not necessary to take that particular talent to 9. So I'm running an 8 right now. On other occasions, I might be doing a Revitalize, so she goes off right away, or an old-fashioned, old-school Bulwark. Increase her attack, increase her health by 60%, and that's significant. So right now, I'm going to be running the Regenerate. Here are her statistics. She's at about 31,000 damage. She's at about 800,000 health. She's got a normal attack speed. She's got a pretty fast foot speed, movement speed. Her accuracy is 2,700. Dodge is something I want to stay away from. I want her to take damage. I want her to be attacked. If she's not being attacked, she's not healing, and she's not using the drop anchor skill. So stay away from dodge. Let's take a look at her destiny at 40. Let's take a look at her equipment now. I have the victory lunge. She's going to be reflecting damage, and it gives her a big attack bonus. Her traits, I want to keep her alive. Thereby, I have health. I got a little bit of accuracy. It was one of these where I had these two probably unlocked. I was looking probably for more health, staying away from dodge, and I got these, and I said, that's plenty. Okay, locked it up and move on with my life. Okay, let's see here. Saw every part of her here. Yes, we did. Great. Next on the list is Cupid. And Cupid is one of those old school first-gen heroes. And what he does is he gives your whole team a big energy boost and a big damage boost. Now, at skill level 12, he also gives your team a movement speed boost. There is a cooldown, so he can't just keep operating again and again and again with his skill. He has to cool down, or he has to pause, then regain himself and get back into the action with his skill. Now, in today's game, for me at least, energy production, creating enough energy to use your skill isn't a big deal with a lot of the heroes today. They have fast energy recovery, you've got a lot of Empower going, you might have an Athene on your team, etc. And making energy isn't a big deal, but that damage boost, 72% more damage for all the heroes on your team. That's pretty big. That's why you use Cupid. Now, you do have the skin option, and on here I have, like most of my heroes, I have one attack and one defensive talent, offense and defense. Offensively, I'm running the Iron Will to give him immunity to stun, fear, energy. Really, I'm only using him in scenarios like the dungeons, Forgotten Trial. When I was running that, finally finished that. It was on my Forgotten Trial video. I find that Iron Will is probably the best way to go in terms of an attack talent. Now, in terms of a defensive talent, I went with Sacred Light. And Sacred Light is one of those talents that is all around great for a buffer like Cupid. And it's going to give him, Cupid is a guy, uh, a health increase of 90% and also reduce the damage. Cupid is an older hero, just like Atlanticore, and if you take these heroes even up to breakthrough 20 max amount, you're not going to be getting the statistics, the attributes, the stats, the health pool, uh, and the variety of great benefits that you get from today's heroes. You're just looking for this guy to go off and activate his skill. Typically pair him with Mini Angie, and Mini Angie is one of those pets that provides a heal and also provides a reduction in damage. Here are his attributes. He's running about 29,000 attack. I'm not looking for attack from Cupid. I just want him to use his skill. Let me make note of that for you. Cupid's damage, his attack, is in no way associated with his skill. So the more damage Cupid does, it will not change his skill in any way. He's always going to be giving your team 72% damage. If you have a skill 12 Cupid who's not even evolved, like maybe like a level 160 non-Evo Cupid, he's still going to be putting out 72. Maybe you're not allowed to access Destiny. If you have a minimum skill level or evil evolutionary level Cupid, you're still going to be getting that damage at 72%. It has nothing to do with his attack ability. Go back in here. Let's see here. What a It's a labyrinth going through all this stuff. Okay, so I went mostly all accuracy and dodge. I want him to hit. I want him to stay away from getting hit. Okay, I want him to be alive. Here he is at Destiny 40. His equipment, I went with the same logic as Atlanticore. I went through all of these different talents, which one is going to help Cupid and not hinder the team, not take away their ability to hit buildings and walls. And again, I thought, yeah, maybe Forest Warp, there's only 30% chance of it activating. I went Cursed Battlefield because it's going to give everybody, every hero, a 10% damage increase. And that works very well in the scenarios where I'm using Cupid. We go to his traits, and I went for as much dodge as I possibly could to keep him out of trouble. And in that process, I came up with an HP and an accuracy, which I'm thrilled with. Let's look at our final hero of today, and then we're going to take him out for a spin. Kick the tires, drive him around the neighborhood. We have our man, Minnow. Minnow is a hero that you get over the progress of the game. Minnow is one of those folks who does only attack. There's no defensive aspect to Minnow whatsoever. This is why I given him all attack, whether it be his talent, his traits, everything is attack about this guy. What he does is he drops this giant hammer, and what it does is it shatters bases. It can 100% a base with one hit. What Minnow doesn't do is hurt any flying units. So if you've got a couple of flying heroes on your base, heroes that are suspended above the ground because they're flying in the air, Minnow won't harm them at all. He will only harm troops, heroes, buildings, or towers that are on the ground, attached to the ground, firmly planted. This is why people put a lot of those little guardian troops out during Guild Wars to protect their base from Minotaur Chieftain. Minnow hits only ground units, and by putting 200 or 300 little guardians out there, you are giving Minnow more targets on the ground to hit, and it would take him 5 or 6 activations of his skill before he could finally get down to smashing up the last of your buildings. So it gives you the opportunity to protect yourself from being minnowed. He targets 55 ground units. So if you've got 300 guardians, he's considering those ground units, and it's going to take him a long time. So always keep your guardians up to keep away from the minnow bomb. He does a heck of a lot of damage. He stuns folks up. He takes away their energy gain, and he has a lengthy cooldown. What you're looking for from Minnow in most cases is just activating his skill once. Okay, if he can stay alive long enough that he actually drops his hammer one time, that's plenty. So what I do is I put two different attack talents, but although they both attack, they're both very different from one another. The main attack talent, where he's doing the most damage, is Unholy Pact. 190% damage increase, but he's going to take more damage in the process. He's going to take 15% more damage. Now, I'm willing to do that. It was justified in my mind because most times I just want Minnow to go off once. I'm not worried about his survivability. I'm not worried about him fighting in some long battle. Just give me one heavy attack hit, and I'm happy. In those cases where I have to worry about being stunned up, Minnow is definitely not immune to stun. If you want to keep away from those stun towers, those enemies that freeze you up, that give you energy loss, that are scattering you, Iron Will is a great way to go. You get a bigger attack bonus than Revitalize, and you also get total stun immunity for 22 seconds. You just want Minnow to last 10 seconds. As far as his pet is concerned, please make note, if you're going to run a base damage dealing pet, and there are two of them to choose from, and I find that it really works well with Minnow. If you're using Minnow, you're trying to blow up bases, so use a base damage dealing pet. You have Doom Balloon. He sends out little rockets and they blow up buildings, okay? And you also have a second choice. You have, that's the little freezy guy, whatever his name is, that's fine. This Icy Man. He is going to ice up the towers or freeze the towers. Now, this is good. If there's a bunch of towers around Minnow, they're attacking him, they're shooting him with arrows, they're trying to stun him up. This freeze that the pet creates will prevent those towers from operating for a number of seconds, for about 4 seconds, 4.5 seconds. That's good for Minnow. The towers are still there, and he can hit them now that they're frozen. If you put Doom Balloon on, Doom Balloon might blow up the towers that are around Minnow. And what this does is it gives Minnow nothing to hit. And he starts wandering around looking for a building to hit, but Doom Balloon's blowing them all up around him. So I would stay away from Doom Balloon. I would also stay away in many cases from Punching Box. A lot of people load up Minnow with Punching Box in order to give him a big attack bonus. I completely understand. If you're in that kind of a scenario where you're not worried about hitting walls or buildings, you're trying to stack on somebody's love doves or something, that's Dovekeeper's love doves, that's great. But if you're looking to hit walls or buildings, Punching Box will create this ring of death around Minnow, just like Burning Plate, and it'll blow up all the walls and buildings around Minnow, giving him nothing to hit. He'll just walk around like an idiot until he's finally vaporized by the enemy. So I go with the stun tower option. Here we go with his... Let me put him back on Unholy Pact. Here we go with his Breakthrough 20 attributes. He's doing about 32,000 health, or excuse me, damage, 32,000 damage. He's got about 630,000 health. He's got a slow attack speed. He's got a slow movement speed. He's like a tank. He's got a 2,000 accuracy, 1,700 dodge. Here he is at Destiny 40. Here is his equipment. I went Victory Lunge for the damage increase, 25% damage. That's all I wanted was damage. and his traits. He's one of only, I think, one of only two guys that I have in my altar that I have outfitted with attack. I think the other one is a Dread Drake. And the reason is the attack boost is something I'm not really looking for in today's game. I'm looking for heroes to stay alive. Uh, and so I carefully choose from among those traits. But with Minnow, again, I just want him to do as much damage as he can within the first few seconds. So I paired him up with all of these attacks. I ended up getting a crit as well. I'm fine with that. It's great. So it really, really does a heck of a job to the enemy. Okay, and oh, I'm running in with a Revitalize. If I'm going with Unholy Pact, I want him to still hit and activate his skill immediately. And same thing with Iron Will. I want him to be out there, activate his skill right away, pronto. All right, let's take a couple of these guys out on the board for a spin. I have them in my bases right now. Okay, Atlanticore's red. I'm thinking about the wardens. Commodora is a green warden. Cupid is a white warden. And Minnow is a green warden. Okay, we're going to get a green warden team. Let's give it... let's do a couple just basic attacks. See what happens. Okay, we got a bunch of... We got a Lazulix, we got a Lavanica, we got Dove Keeper, we got all these folks. Let's try Commodora first. Let's put Commodora on the left side of the screen. Okay, she has to be under attack for that drop anchor to be functioning. And you see what she's doing to this base. Now she's up against this Dove Keeper, and she is over with at this point. But does 88% base damage before it's done. Let me revive her. Take her for a couple of more spins around the block as far as... okay. Let's try... Let's try Commo down here. No, let's go Commo up at the top. Okay, she's going to be taking on that Ashore in a second. It's not good for her. Reflecting all that damage back. Okay, she's over with, but we got 72% base damage. Not bad at all. Let's see here. Let's move that. Let's try her in a, let's try like Insane Dungeon 4, 410. A classic. Okay, just her alone. Start at the top. Now she is not immune to stun, so she will be falling victim to the stun towers, but the stun towers aren't going to last too long. Look at her healing. This is why I don't have Regenerate on her as a level 9 main talent. Her energy bar, her health is pretty much going to go to max until the cooldown stops. The purple bar at the bottom is going to go to max until the cooldown stops and allows her to activate her skill. So she can suffer from too much energy. You can also run a Revitalize, get that immediate proc. And like I said, the classic Bulwark. Okay, she did a fantastic job. She didn't even take damage. Let's try Insane 510. Just her alone. I'm going to give her a little shield. She's all stunned up. All right, she punched through. Now, let's use Cupid to buff her, damage. Give her a little bit more damage. Beautiful. And Cupid did what he was supposed to do. He gave her a 72% damage increase. She's going to take on this Skull Knight. Yeah, everybody's just destroyed. Yeah, this is insane 510 with one hero. Not bad. Nobody's going to give her any problems. Let's see here. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see what's going on in the expeditions and get some. Let's get a tough opponent. Let's try. Let's try Atlanticore and see if that shield doesn't do anything. Is there anybody on this board that's going to actually do any damage with me? Let's see here. Let's try Atlanticore over here. Oh, we've got a bunch of. Okay, we put up a. The shield damage is going back at Gunslinger. Look at the damage that the folks are suffering. Gunslinger's almost killed by her own copters. And she's dead. He's got that shield up again. Let's see what happens when he goes in there. He's going to take a lot of damage. He's going to get knocked out. This is how you take out specific heroes. This is what you're using Atlanticore for. You're using Atlanticore to make auto proc heroes. Heroes that activate their skill from a distance while not under direct attack to make them basically destroy themselves with their own attacks. Okay, what do we got? Let's try Atlanticore again. Over here on the left. And we're not getting stunned up because of the Iron Will. Let's put the nice little shield on Atlanticore. It's okay. Stun these guys up. We're just using an old school 2014 hero against a whole base full of bad guys. And he finally gives away. Okay, let's drop Commodora from the right-hand side. Look at what she's doing to these guys in the center. Okay, she killed Michael. Nearly took out that Anubis. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let's try this. We have a 4-man team that are in no way designed to necessarily work with one another. Let's try a Here Be Monsters. I don't want so crazy that it's gonna tear me apart. Let's try J and just start there and see what happens. We'll run it at 2 times speed. Okay, Commodora took out the first wave of J. Looks like Commo is going to be taking out this next wave. Watch her drop anchors and just take everybody away. Okay, this next one's going to go to Minnow. Now he's going to take out the ground units, but he's not going to hurt that Spirit Mage that is flying. Commo again will have probably no issue down here. Atlanticore is reflecting the damage back at all of those copters. Boy, there's a lot of copters. Notice how the drop anchor skill is not working on Commodora because she's not taking direct damage from the copters. They were aimed at the tower at that time, so she wasn't getting that hook being dropped. Oh, we just made it through. Okay, let's move ahead a little bit. See what happens. Let's go to N. Let's go 2 times speed. Cupid goes off, giving us all a big damage boost. Real nice. Cupid goes off again. Cupid's staying alive. Even under these circumstances, right there at the edge, just tanking on everybody. Wow, Cupid just did that whole wave basically by himself. Okay, now we got a lot of troops. Look at Atlanticore on the left. Watch all those bad guys just start disappearing from the reflective damage. Cupid's still going. Okay, the big N5 boss is coming. Maybe not so big. All right, let's go move on. Let's try T. The start before the last wave. I don't know if we're going to be able to do this. This is not a Here Be Monsters team, and we only have 4 heroes on the board. Boy, I tell you, Atlanticore's just clearing the board. He's doing a great job. And Cupid has a far greater survivability than we would think from somebody who's just a buffer for damage. He's not going down. Yeah, Cupid's in a tough spot. He's going up against these Multanicas. He got him. Oof, boy, it's a lot for Cupid to do all on his own over here. Okay, we got the big demon over here on the left, and the big demon, the centaur, just died on Atlanticore. It's fantastic. Now look at this Multanica coming in, and Atlanticore's gonna put up a shield. Watch the Multanica's health. Boom, dead. Now this Multanica down here is actually fighting Minnow, and Minnow can't even hit him with his skill. He can only hit him with his basic attack because Multanica's flying. Oh, we got T, no problem. Let's try this again. Oh, let's try AB. Okay, I would highly doubt with 4 heroes that 3 of which are 20, 14, and 15 heroes. I highly doubt that we're going to be able to pull this off. I have Athene in the totem right now because I'm using. Typically, I would use Mike and PD in these totems, but I'm using them in a variety of game modes right now. Okay, we're going AB2 or AB3 is up. I think Cupid's going to finally give in. Yeah, Cupid didn't make it anymore. Cupid's out. Minnow's going in to take out those copters. Okay, is Minnow going to survive this wave? And Minnow's out. Okay, we've got only Commo in Atlanticore. Here comes Commodora. Let's see what happens when she goes face to face with this centaur. He's dead. Okay, AB5. Commo's doing the drop anchor. We got that big demon. Gonna have to wait until he takes out a couple of buildings and gets a little closer to my heroes. There we go. Now my heroes come in. Atlanticore puts up his shield. Commodora starts doing the basic attack. She's not using drop anchor because the demon must be hitting Atlanticore. The attack has to switch over to combo for that drop anchor skill to be happening. And because the demon has a damage cap, he can't flat out kill himself on Atlanticore. It can only take 60,000 damage. But look at what's happening. With Atlanticore and combo, we are just whittling this guy down piece by piece. Come on, Atlanticore. See, Atlanticore's health bar is about to give out. I mean, he's under direct fire from a AB5 demon. Can we do it? Let's go to 4 times speed. We might time out. We may not be able to get enough damage in time. If it switches over to Commodora, that'll actually help us. Okay, now the drop anchor skill happens. Boom, done with 3 seconds left. So she has to be under direct attack for that drop anchor skill to activate. Let's try a hero trials or two. Let's try Orcsbane. L9, hardest level of hero trials, the 4 guys that we had in just a moment ago. Okay, Commodora's making short work down in the left-hand corner. Unfortunately, Minnow's out. Cupid's out. Atlanticore's still holding his own. Atlanticore's out. Commo's alive, but the building's died. Let's try a different pair. Let's go Immortep L12. Okay, with the team that we have, let's try to keep it to less than 60 attackers. Yeah, not a problem. Let's try 1, 2, 3, 4 over here. Let's go back here and let's take Minnow out for a little try. Okay, start. Let's just use Minnow and see how far we get. Okay, just using Minnow, Minotaur Chieftain. We're not going to buff him in any way. We're not going to use a Cupid or a Serena to give him extra attack. Let's just touch a building and see what happens. Boom, 100%. Next. These are flying units. They're not going to interfere with Minotaur. They're going to be something that he can actually hit and activate his skill on. I'm going to drop him on the right-hand side, right next to these coppers. Boom, 100%. Let's go right-hand side by the pet building. Boom, 93%. And we drop Commo over here. Got him. Let's just see how far we can go. Up at the top where all these buildings are, maybe by the Heroes Altar. Boom. Another 100. All right. This is what makes expeditions easier. I remember when I originally got, again, flying units. Not going to interfere with his ability to activate his skill. In fact, we'll just drop him right next to him. Boom. We do a little Cupid buff for some extra energy, and we'll see what happens. Oh, done. All right. What other building do we have? Right there. Okay, very good. Got 3 more of these bad boys. We got the town hall left. Looks like. Oh, we got this little warden building down here. Good, got him. Okay. Pause there. All right, we had a look today at Atlanticore, at Commodora, at Cupid, as well as Minnow. And each one of these, 1, 2, 3, each one of these 4, and I can say this about all 4 of them, I would consider them to be specialty heroes in a specialized area. These aren't Anubises, these aren't Walla Wallas, these aren't even Sasquatches. They don't necessarily do multiple things. They don't necessarily have the survivability to maintain a 3-minute fight. They don't necessarily, although they prove themselves in Here Be Monsters, they don't necessarily have that ability. But they have a specialized skill that can make all the difference in certain game modes. So Atlanticore will make the difference in very specific game modes, and I've outfitted him to survive in those modes. Commodora, I've given her a little bit of survivability along with a great deal of damage, and she can do 88% base damage in the first couple of seconds, okay? Cupid, again, I'm just interested in his damage buff, that damage increase to the team. And Minnow, I just want the man to drop that flying cactus one time and clear the board. All right, I'll check you on the next installment of the Hero Review. We're going to take a look at Trixie Treat, we're going to take a look at Mahatma, Bogeyman, Lazulix, and Rosaline. So we have 5 final heroes that I've maxed out at Breakthrough 20 that we're going to be taking a look at. 5 more up on the list. All right, thanks a lot. I'll check you on the next video and have a good one. All right, bye-bye.